create a theory about the pyramid. So pyramid, how pyramid has been built, alien built. There was rocks, cut rocks that has been taken from, far distance place, and people built, and it was a hard work, all of that. I want to debunk that today. As a Kushite, which is what pharaohs were actually, a Kushite, up to the sun, which is not good for your eyes. What they did was they created tunnels when they were building. They created tunnels every time when the building, reached where the tunnel is supposed to be, they were leaving some, space. So those tunnels, sun are coming in, the beam of sun are coming in through the tunnels, and they were facing or ending a space they made in the pyramid for the worship. The sun comes, and the light of the sun, that's where they work. I want to talk about today about how pyramids is being built. We see a lot of times people create a theory about the pyramid. So pyramid, how pyramid has been built, alien built. There was rocks, cut rocks that has been taken from, far distance place, and people built, and it was a hard work, all of that. I want to debunk that today. As a Kushite, which is what pharaohs were actually, a Kushite, I want to tell the people how easy it was to build the pyramid according to the method that still some Kushites use in this world. So first of all, let's talk about it. Let's talk about who pharaohs were actually. Pharaohs were Kushite, black people, Africans. That's what they were. Some people say ancient Egyptian. That's not what their name was actually. Kemet. The land's name was Kemet. Not a Egyptian or Egypt. Egypt is a name the Greek Alexander the Great named that land after Pharaoh's power declined, and they retrieved to Sudan because of a disastrous, not overpowering actually. Nobody overpowered them, but there was a lot of disasters that make the land unlivable. So they retreated to Sudan, where they built the other pyramids, which is in Sudan right now. So when we say that, that is the identity of the land. Kemet is the land, which is black land, and people were pharaohs. So let's talk about how the pyramid is being built, which is the topic of today. First of all, we will start the creation of humanity, which is when Prophet Adam is being created by God from a dead. Adam was 60 cubits tall and 7 cubits wide. That's how large and giant Adam was. That's the start of humanity, actually. The size of human started that. And then he slept, and another creature has been created from him. He woke up and saw Eve, another beautiful creature beside him. Eve was 58 cubits tall and 5 cubits wide. So that is the human creation, how human started, the size of human. So from that moment, human were shrinking each and every generation. Human was shrinking because of, in order to fit this earth, each and every time when human thrive, human was shrinking. And that's the reason, because imagine 60 cubit and 58 cubit people, 9 billion of us roaming in this world right now. It will be difficult. There will be no place. We can't fit in this earth, actually. So that's God's plan. Human was shrinking each and every time. So let's come to 5,000 years when the pyramid is being built. Because people were larger each and every generation, those guys were larger than us. You can see their buildings, the doors they built, how, large and, like high, let me say, the doors are. Because human who are going in are large people. It's not something they just did, that large, no, but it was human who going in. So let's come down to the pyramid, how pyramid has been built. The pyramid has been built, first of all, manpower built the pyramid. It's no machine. And that manpower used their brain, they used their intelligence to build that pyramid without much of an effort. Because pyramid is being built from limestone. Limestone sand. Because when stone is, forming because of gathered sand and maybe, get wet, and then that's how stone forms. But, it was only the sand. So that's what pyramid is built from. Mix it of limestone sand. And pyramid, those bricks you see in the pyramid were concrete, nothing else. They built as a concrete, which is to form a hollow, rectangle woods, to build that wood rectangle, shape, and in the middle is empty. So that's why you feel. Still, we do that in concrete. When we build in concrete, we first build the wood, and then we put the mixture. In this case, here now is cement. So that's how it's been built. So first, they created the shape because they knew how to measure. That's the people who come up the measure we use today. So they measured the pyramid. And in the base of the pyramid, it's been built first. So this is how they built. Each side of the square of the pyramid shape, the bottom shape of the pyramid, they make lines like 100 lines or more of men, because they're using manpower. So those men which line up they did not facing, as we know lines now, against their backs. No, they're not doing that. They were side by side, shoulder by shoulder. And they were where the mixture, they create a mixture of that sand, limestone sand with the water, and that mixture, they stand in front of the mixture. The line starts the mixture, and then ends where the concrete or hollow wood is. So they were using buckets. And those buckets were large buckets because they were large people. So what they did was, when the bucket is being filled, people are walking, some men are walking at the mixture and filling the buckets with the mixture of limestone. So the first guy takes the bucket. He's not running to the place that is being poured, at the top at the first line of the concrete. No. While he's standing, he just passes, because there's shoulder to shoulder. He passes to the next guy. The next guy passes that bucket to the next guy, till the bucket reaches the concrete, hollow wood that they've been pouring the mixture. Without no effort, the men are standing, but just passing the bucket, the next guy, and the line is doing that. So they did not put any effort when it comes to that. And when the wood filled with the mixture, they level it, the top, and then rest one day, one full day, because that concrete has to be dried, and it takes 24 hours to do that. So they build the base. The whole men who are all around the base of the pyramid, they they build the base and they rest a day, and next day they build over that. I mean, they rest one day. Each and every other day, they're building another concrete in the whole square of the pyramid. So that's how they built, and it took 20 years to build the pyramid. Also, there's also and all the pyramids they built like that. It was that effort, that easy. And why am I saying that? We still use that method. Check this video. Kushite people who are using that method to build buildings. Whenever building, has been built with manpower, that's how we use it right now. So let's talk about why pyramid has been built. There's a lot of theory. What is the purpose? They just built. No. Pyramid, the purpose of the pyramid those pharaohs built was two reasons. Number one, for worship. It was a worship place. Pyramids were worship place. And second, to put the bodies, the mummified bodies of the king and queens in a granite box in the pyramid to protect, because pyramid is very strong. Human who live now, or in the history, they were trying to destroy. They couldn't do it. They couldn't do it because that's how strong it was. So why for worship? Pharaohs used to worship to the sun. They were sun worshippers. So in order to do that, instead of standing outside and looking up to the sun, which is not good for your eyes, what they did was they created tunnels when they were building. They created tunnels. Every time when the building, reached where the tunnel is supposed to be, they were leaving some, space. So those tunnels, sun are coming in, the beam of sun are coming in through the tunnels, and they were facing or ending a blaze space they made in the pyramid for the worship. The sun comes, and the light of the sun, that's where they worship. Worshiping actually. And also I hear some people say how they climb that pyramid when they're building. They were creating stairs that they covered it later. Stairs that they making, bricks of stairs. Each and every time when the pyramid get or higher, let me say, it's just they were climbing those stairs made with bricks in the pyramid. So that's how they climb. They did not climb with a machine or whatever they say, like I see which is not existing in the pyramid now. There's no trace of what they climbed with. So they covered it with a limestone mixture. They covered it and leveled it, and pyramid, it was white. So it was white when pyramid has been finished. This, people destroyed and, did whatever they want, but that's what it was. So it was a worship place, and where the king and queens, mummified queens, who've been, smeared as spices, who's been, they brought from Somalia actually. They call Bunt, the land of Bunt. So they, that's the purpose. They did the pyramid, and you can see also my first video, the earlier video. I told you when they're making the journey, each and every time, everywhere they go, like Yucatan Peninsula, the native used to worship the sun, and the pyramids in Yucatan Peninsula, they used to sacrifice somebody for the sun. They put the top of the pyramid, a body, some person who they sacrifice for the sun, and who built the pyramid, and those pyramids in Yucatan Peninsula was the pharaohs. Some they built, some they taught how to build, because they were making the journey, as I said in the earlier video. So that's how pyramid has been built. No alien built. It was not so hard as I just told you. It's just when they walk and when they rest, because of the concrete. Concrete has to be, dried. And they had wood. Nobody can dispute that. They had a wood, and they know how to build the wood. So, yeah, that's how pyramid has been built.